Okay, Tom and Cheryl Larsen from Alzada, Montana. Oh, and what else?
How long have you been raising Highland cattle?
Well, since 1949, his family, and the last 37 years for me.
Yeah, my dad got interested in them, and after he come back from the war, and he bought some in the late 40s, and had them for 20 years until he passed away, and then we got at them for 7 years. We kind of got out of them, but we got back in them, and we've been in them since.
What's your farm name?
Well, it's Larsen Ranch, but our full name for the Highland business is Big Sky Highlands, TCL.
Well, see, my dad joined the army and went to the army, and he got over in England, and they were training over there before they invaded Normandy, and he had an interest in Highlander cattle, so he got a pass during that time he was training over there, and he went up to Scotland and looked at Highland cattle, and that's kind of how he got interested, so liked them so good. Heard his first cattle?
Yeah.
Well, there was 2 or 3 guys. There was Baxter Black or Baxter Berry from Belvedere, South Dakota, and then there was a guy named George Holmes from Decker, Montana, George Holmes family, and then there was a Stanley Sloan from Forsyth, and Jimmy Newland from Belfou, South Dakota, and there were some people from Nebraska, but I can't.
Did he get Shoop?
What?
Did he get some from Shoop?
No.
No. Okay.
No, but that's kind of where he got started. He growed up in northeastern Montana. He was raised up there, and the winters are real cold up there, and he appreciated how he could see a Highlander cow in the cold, and she wasn't all humped up and uncomfortable. You know, a lot of these other breeds, they're shivering, and you can tell they're uncomfortable, and he liked them for the winter deal mostly.
Why do you still raise them today?
Oh, for that same reason.
Same reason.
Can you think of a funny story?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one.
Something dramatic, funny.
Let me think of something. I can't even think of anything. Well, we raised some bucking bulls, and they're not mean, but we rodeo a little bit. But anyway, we were raising these bulls, and I had this one bull that I knew we were going to have to sell, and he was my pet, and his name was Elvis. So we took him to a rodeo, and we loaded him in the chute. Tom told me, don't take him, he's too much of a pet. So we loaded him in the chute, and I'm down there kissing his nose and whispering at him, you got to buck the guy off now. And these cowboys are standing there, because the last one went out really bucked hard, and they thought, oh my gosh. So I'm standing there saying, you really got to buck the guy off. And he comes out walking. Remember that? Yeah. Sort of embarrassed me. So Elvis didn't make a champion bucking bull.
What's that?
Piece of advice.
For someone interested in Highland cattle?
Oh, just have patience. You know, they're take a little longer to grow up, and people kind of get impatient because they're a little smaller, and it takes them another year or 2 to grow up. But on the other end, when they get older, they're going to be lasting a lot longer than the other breeds. So just have patience, I think.
Oh yeah, that's good, right.
Anything you would have done differently, looking back over the years?
Oh,
I
no.
don't think so.
No, I guess we done the best we could, I guess.
I'd like to see it. Well, see, we're beef breeders, Highland beef breeders. So I'd like to see more emphasis on the beef breed instead of showing. But that's how you get out. There's the showing. So, but because we're beef people, you know. So, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anything particular growing up with the breed you can think of that stands out in your mind? Maybe your first memory with
Tom,
with
tell
the cows.
one wild story about a cow almost killed you or anything like that.
What's that?
A cow that almost killed.
Do you
Oh,
have any?
Tizzy Lizzie or Ma Barker?
Ma Barker.
Okay.
The Ma Barker story.
We had a 2-year-old that had a backwards calf. Remember this?
Yeah.
And we went up, and he comes down and he says, I'm going to need help. So I drive up, and I just assume that she's going to be all sweet. And I get out, and I walk over to her, and are you having a hard time? And she jumped up and took after me with this calf, a calf hanging out of her. And instead of running to the outfit or the Jeep, I run past for open prairie, like you could outrun me. I mean, you know, I could outrun this cow. Anyway, yeah, but she finally stopped.
Well,
Oh, when they got off the ship.
huh?
When they got off the ship, when they imported them. Tom told me this. When they come over, when they imported these bulls,
Yeah.
and his dad went to get them, Baxter Berry and his dad, and they were would you say slab-hided, and, you know, when they were on a ship going for a month. Remember that,
Yeah.
having to stand down there in that ship? And then when they got them, it was like 10 below. Remember
Yeah,
that?
in the middle of a winter storm.
And they
Yeah.
wintered that. Oh, I got another good story.
What year do you think that would have been?
Oh, that was in 40.
Oh, that would have been about in the
50?
middle 50s.
Oh, okay.
Middle 50s.
Yeah, I want to hear more stories.
Close.
Yeah.
Well, this story was, remember the 5 bulls on the reservoir?
Yeah.
Okay, we have these we call them reservoirs, mud tanks, and they're frozen over. And 5 bulls were out there, and they have to peck at each other, you know, a spar. And so they're trying to hook each other, and you can hear the ice start cracking. It's a deep reservoir, and they fell in, all these bulls. Well, it's 10 below, and the wind's blowing, and oh boy, Tom, we gotta get him out. You know, because if it was a normal bull, they die. Anyway, so they come trod, you know, getting out, the ice got out, and the minute they come out, that ice, that the water running off of them was freezing. And I said, well, there's 5 sterile bulls walking by, because if they'd been your normal bulls, they would have froze. All 5 of them lived to old age and produced calves. But if it would have been another breed, they would have died of pneumonia, and they would have been sterile if they would have lived. So that's another thing. That opened my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't think of
Well, you
anything
guys tell
else.
us
Think
the story.
anything else? That's
You
like
guys
the
tell
best
us.
stuff.
Oh,
we've
he's
got.
wanting to give up.
Okay. No.
He's done.